Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. What a petty guy doesn't want others to enjoy their birthday candy and campaigns against it, but complains when he doesn't get his? But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. The case of the missing candy bar. This story is not mine, but was told to me by one of the ladies in HR at the factory where I work. The players. B, the aforementioned lady in HR. She's pretty much the first point of contact for us lowly production employees and handles a lot of smaller day-to-day stuff for the company. G, the engineer in charge of one of the production departments. He mostly just walks around and complains. So where I work, they try to do little things here and there to increase morale. One such thing is giving an employee a card and a candy bar on their birthday. It's not really a big deal, but hey, who am I to pass up free chocolate? Anyways, G is a notorious complainer. This guy can find a problem with anything, and one particular day his issue is with these candy bars that get passed out. In his infinite frustration, he sought out B and told her he didn't want to give them out anymore because it was a waste of money and a stupid idea. B made note of his objections, and I'm told it eventually got brought up in a meeting, but G's boss said they were going to continue because, seriously, who doesn't like free candy? G reiterated that he didn't want it to continue, but he's not in charge, so tough luck. So G moves on to something else. Maybe someone forgot to sweep that one corner of the plant no one ever goes in. Maybe a toilet paper roll was left empty. I don't know. I can only say for certain that he wasn't bothering me, and I'm thankful. Anyways, a couple of months go by, and guess whose birthday it is? G comes in and sits down at his desk and notices there's no candy bar, just a card. Around lunchtime, confident that there's been some mistake, he goes to B and asks her in a slightly more polite way, "What the hell?" B goes on to explain to him that he said he didn't want them handed out, and she didn't want to be upset by him giving a candy bar that, for some reason, he was so against. G goes on to throw a small fit over the chocolate that's now not only wanted, but completely necessary for him to enjoy his birthday. B apologizes, but she's got work to do and doesn't have time to get him one, so, again, tough luck. G leaves B's office, his birthday obviously ruined, and returned to work. Sounds like he wants everyone else to be as miserable as he is. And our second story. You don't want us inspecting trains all day? Okay, boss. This was some great malicious compliance by my foreman a couple years back. So I work for a heavy equipment contractor. We specialize in railway work with very industry-specific equipment. On this particular job, we were undercutting tunnels, basically digging dirty or worn-out ballast from underneath and between railroad ties and putting new ballast in. It took a high-rail backhoe for the digging, an excavator on a high-tracker cart for removing the reject ballast and bringing in clean ballast, and a tamper for stabilizing the track when we were done. 3 operators and a railway foreman were required along with the equipment. Costs got pretty high. Now, on the railway, you need track time to complete any work on track. The foreman must get track occupancy permits, TOPs, from Radio Traffic Control, RTC, to ensure our protection from getting blasted by trains. You can only do this between trains. They will not stop trains to allow you to work. Trains make way more money than you cost, especially container trains that have a guaranteed shipping date. Trains also cost a lot of money when they're stopped, some close to $1 million an hour. We'd been getting lots of production through the week. Train traffic was in our favor, until it wasn't. It happens. Sometimes you get what we call a train day, just so much traffic that RTC won't give you a track permit. We'd gotten stranded out on track with no way out other than by rail with 9 trains on the line up before we get enough track time to get out of there. There was a lot of overtime billed out that day. The supervisor called our foreman wondering why we got nothing done that day and worked so late. The foreman told him why and that it was out of our control. He wasn't happy and proceeded to yell at him about how he doesn't want to pay contractors to PK trains all day. To PK a train means to inspect it as it goes by, in case there's something wrong with the train. PK stands for pins and knuckles. It's mandatory that you inspect a passing train and notify the train crew that you've done so. He tells us the next day what happened and says we'll be getting lots of work done today. It didn't click with me until it actually happened. We got a TOP within an hour of track time attached. We knew that we couldn't get anything done in that time, but the foreman assured us it'd be fine. We're contractors, we do what we're told. We start working. As the end of our hour approaches, we're still digging more ballast out of the track. At the state the track is in, it'd take at least another hour to make the track passable for trains. We keep digging. A half hour after our clear time was supposed to be, a train is now calling RTC at this time, wondering why they're stopping. And of course, it's one of those very expensive container trains. We're now an hour over our limit, and RTC has been trying to get a hold of our foreman over the radio for 30 minutes. That's when we start putting the new ballast in the track and tamping. We were able to get it back together in an hour and clear the track. A total of 3 hours on track, train stop for nearly 2. We just cost the railroad almost $2 million for that train being late, and who knows how many trains behind it we slowed down. Needless to say, the supervisor was furious. He called our foreman right as we got clearing, wondering why he's getting called about this huge delay. The foreman simply replied with, "You told me not to have contractors PK trains all day." It was beautiful. Judging from the track occupancy terminology you're using, I'm assuming you were working somewhere in Canada? And our last story. How I got a car dealership to give my friend a newer car. Circa 2020, January, my friend makes a stupid decision and buys a brand new car he can't afford. His insurance is like $400 a month. He makes like $10.25 an hour working as a shift supervisor at McDonald's. His car payment's like $795 a month. Now at $10.25 an hour, 30 hours a week, that's a weekly income of about $300 a week or about $1,230 a month. So yeah. So my friend came to me for help because I used to sell cars and know the industry pretty well. I go over his paperwork, the dealer did rip him off, but my friend's trying to find a way to get out of this mess, and ripping someone off isn't illegal. They did of course overcharge him for warranty, and gave him a higher APR, they had add-ons, etc., but none of that's illegal. And I know the only way I can get my friend out of this deal is if they did something illegal. So I look at his finance application that my friend signed, it correctly listed his income, which turned on a light bulb in my head. No bank is going to approve someone for a $795 car payment if they're only making $1,200 a month. It does not make mathematical sense to do that. So I start searching through the paperwork for the finance app the dealer submitted to the bank. You oftentimes, when you submit a finance application at a dealership, the dealership will take the hand-filled out application and reproduce it electronically. This is pretty normal. However, on the application the dealer submitted to the bank, the dealer said my friend was a GM of the McDonald's and made $70,000. My friend had good credit, so it doesn't appear like the bank asked for proof of income. So I go to the dealership with my friend and tell the sales manager he's going to want to put me in touch with the GM because we're going to be unwinding my friend's deal and giving his trade-in back. The sales manager thought I was joking. The GM also thought I was joking. Then I demonstrated how his dealership's finance department committed bank fraud. I showed the GM the finance app my friend filled out. I then showed the GM the finance app his dealership submitted to the bank and pointed at the income difference. My friend really made $14,000 a year. The dealership claimed my friend made $70,000 a year. That's bank fraud. That's a felony. Let's keep this simple, shall we? The GM sees his dealership as in a load of crap. The proof I'm presenting to him is rock solid. He knows it. I know it. We're all on the same page. He goes, "Okay, so what can I do to make this right?" I go, "Unwind the deal, give my friend his trade-in back." Unwinding the deal is basically the GM agreeing to cancel the deal and basically erasing the deal and pretending it never happened. GM tries to avoid that, but I remain firm and remind him we can easily take this documentation and turn his life into a living hell. He knows I'm right. My friend also needs a car to get to work the next day. The GM says he'll check into it. He comes back and tells me, unfortunately, they sold his trade-in already. I said, that's fine, unwind the deal and let's put my friend into something as good or slightly better than what he traded in for. So the GM goes, so he'll buy a car similar to his trade-in? I said, no, you'll give him a car similar to his trade-in. The GM goes, it doesn't work that way. I go, it does when you commit bank fraud. GM's upset with me, and I remind him, I'm being really nice, and this situation can get really ugly. Like felony-level charges ugly. Like losing your franchise ugly. So yeah, this is gonna hurt, but it's gonna hurt less my way. So the GM goes, all right, and he looks in his inventory and tells me they have a 2007 Focus with 10K more miles. I tell him, no, the car you give my friend needs to be the same or better than what he traded in. The GM counters, I'm giving him a free car. And I go, no, you took his trade-in, you sold it, you made money on that sale. You also committed a felony in the process of selling him his new car. You're now correcting that mistake. This isn't a free car for my friend. This is you are correcting your mistake. GM insists that's what he's willing to do. I tell him if he can't do better, then we'll go to a consumer protection attorney and have a conversation with them. My friend didn't want to go this route, but it was our plan B. We get up. The GM says, wait, give me a second. The GM goes, I have an '08 Civic. It has 5K more miles, but it's a Civic and not a Focus. I unwind the deal on the new car and put your friend in the Civic at no extra cost. We agree. GM has the paper drawn up, the old loan on the new car is canceled, they take in the new car again, but because it's already titled, they'll have to sell it as used. That sucks for them. And they gave my friend a better car than the one he traded in. For people asking why we didn't get a lawyer involved from the start, we could have done that, but courts take a long time and this was a way faster way to fix the situation. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.